What's up guys, this is William here, coming at you from WilliamWesterlund.com. The topic of today is university and higher education. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I think our society has provided us with a pretty fucked up picture of university, what it actually is and how you should use it. I think it's a pretty conservative view, so I'm gonna give you the hustler's mentality of how to use university to further enlighten your goals. Okay, so let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, I study industrial engineering and management at KTH, like math, programming, all that kind of stuff, economics, and it's considered a pretty hard education in Sweden, so I do my walk so I can do the talk, so to speak. Starting out, I just want to put aside everything like whether you should go to university or not, because if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to university. There's no way around it. And we're also gonna fuck the pros, I'm gonna fuck the cons just for this video, and we're just gonna look at the mentality, how should you actually view it. Okay, so starting out, I think the two biggest fundamental assumptions that people get wrong when they think of university is one, they think that it's such a big fucking deal career choice. I'm here to tell you it's not. And the second is that they overvalue higher education. They overvalue university. It's not as important as it was back in the day. The things you learn in university are pretty much obsolete when you get out in a lot of areas. Okay, so in my opinion, these two fundamental assumptions of how university ought to be gives people a distorted vision of how it actually is and what it actually can be. And I think it misleads people in their choice in life, whether it should go or not. So, presenting to you the hustler's way of looking at university and how to use it. Okay, starting out, we have two fundamental principles that we're gonna outline here. The first one is that university isn't that big of a deal. It isn't your biggest life choice that you will ever do. It's not that big of a deal. And the second one is that self-education will always come first. It will always be more important than your primary education at your university. I'm a strong believer that what you teach yourself will always be the most important part, and also the learning you do after university. Okay, so having those two fundamental principles in our bag, we will move on to the second thing, and that's to just fuck the rat race and social conditioning, both outside the university and inside. Like how people telling you university should be, what you should do in university, and also what you should do after with the education. Most of you, for a fact, if you don't want to be a consultant, to go to banking, finance, whatever, you won't need that high grades. So a friend of mine, he coined a term called inverted study optimization. And basically what that is that in subjects you care about, you want to learn, you will naturally get high grades because you're interested in it and will study hard, so you get high grades. In the subjects you don't really care about and will never use, you just fuck them. And then you put all that time into other stuff. And that's another big fundamental assumption that people get wrong about university. And that's the fact that people think that once you go to university, you will be totally immersed in that, in the university thing for 3 or 5 years, and that you won't be able to do anything else on the side. And and for most people that's true, because they lack self-discipline, they lack time management, they go to all the parties, all the social things, and try to aim for the maximum grades all the time, and then are just lazy pretty much. But being a student myself, I know that is not the case. I have shit loads of time to do other stuff, whether it's working, blogging, YouTubing, girlfriend, gym, whatever. And that's not because I'm overly special or disciplined or something like that, but if you're just smart about it, there's so much time you can do, outside of university. There's so much free time if you just know where to get the time, so to speak. I mean, nowadays you don't even have to go to class. You have like everything online. I mean, the classes online, if you just type of YouTube search, whatever, are probably even going to be better than your actual, your actual classes. And that's also a big fact that people make. So just summing up that real quick, if you're thinking about university, you don't have to think it as a 3, 5, even more years thing that you won't do anything else. The thing, as we go back to in the beginning, use it as a tool, as a complementary thing. When I started out, I just wanted to use it as a tool to further advance my entrepreneurial visions, my entrepreneurial goals. It was never at the start to, you know, I'm gonna be an engineer. It was mostly, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do my own thing, and I want to use the engineering thing as a complement to it. So I really think that's a key mindset thing to have in mind. And just don't also be too afraid to swap or to drop out from an education. That's another thing that you have to commit for 5 years. I really don't think that's really. You can go like 1 year. If you're satisfied, just fucking leave. I mean, worst case, you just got new friends and you learned a lot of stuff. That's the worst part. I mean, you're not competing with anyone at all. I mean, generally in life, you don't compete with anyone. Who the fuck cares if you waste 1 year or if you learn stuff for 1 year? I mean, you can always switch towns, switch education. Yeah, and okay, rounding this up. Don't take this so seriously. I really hope I make my point clear here that whether you go to university or whether you not go to university, don't take it so seriously. Your life won't depend if you go to a certain university or not, or do a certain education. So pretty much fuck all that shit. Don't take it so seriously, and yeah, then you can decide whether you want to go or not. But have that in mind. It doesn't have to be a lifelong commitment, and it won't determine your final life. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe, like, whatever. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.